So Armenian, as far as its roots go, as far as I know, it's like its own thing. It doesn't have any languages at all that it is similar to in roots or in structure. It's a hard language. I think that any language is difficult to learn, but it's hard. It has its own alphabet, and when you first see the alphabet, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is just a bunch of U's and N's and H's. Like this just looks so weird. But once you learn the alphabet, it's pretty easy to read. It's pretty phonetic. There are some weird letters, like weird consonants, like an aspirated consonant and a non-aspirated consonant. So like a consonant with a breath and without a breath. So like example, like g and k and b and p, like they sound really similar, but one has a breath behind it, the other doesn't. And so when you first learn those concepts in the MTC, it kind of just like makes your brain explode. It's just like, what? Like, what? But, once you hear Armenians speak and you kind of pick up on those patterns, you kind of learn how to do. I think that's the biggest thing that I would say is just listen to Armenians, listen to how they speak, the way that they say words, the way that they say vowels, and speak. That's probably the biggest thing. Just speak. My biggest problem at first was I was just so afraid to make a mistake. But Armenians love it when you speak their language, because the language is so much a part of their culture as much as it is just their language. It's so big in their culture, and so when they see you trying to speak their language, even if you're terrible, it means so much to them that random Americans would come and learn their language. They love that. So I would just say, speak a ton. Just speak as much as you can, and Armenians will correct you. And don't take offense, but they correct you because they want you to get better. But as far as grammar goes with the language, the grammar is weird. It has different rules that are kind of different concepts that we English speakers are not really used to. Like word order doesn't really, like it matters, but in some cases it doesn't really matter. You can kind of just like throw around words and it'll have the same meaning. But yeah.
Armenian is such a fun language and really, I have to describe Armenians as they're such a fun and unique people. They have so many quirks and so many things that just make them fun, and that exists in the language as well. It's just fun, the way you can speak it, the way the things you can say, the way they phrase it. It's a very free language. Like English is very dominated by sentence structure and also the word order. In Armenian, the word order doesn't matter as much. Like you could, pure Armenian, if you were to speak it 100% correctly, you could put in almost any order you would like, and it would still mean the same. I mean, obviously, they still do care about word order, but it matters a lot less than it does in English. So you get people will say something like, "How does that?" Oh, there you are. That's where that word is connected to. Armenian, a lot of the words are very unique, and to me a lot more poetic than in English, because a lot of the words are compound words based on other words, even more so than English. So it can be really cool when you're learning a new word and you just see how it's broken down and be like, let's see, I'm trying to think of one, like leadership. The word is hekavarutyun. Like a hek is what's that word called? It's the helm of a ship, and varutyun is leadership. So it's like helm leadership, or helm directing of a ship. That's what they refer to a leader as, and just stuff like that. There's just the breakdown of words. Armenian has its own alphabet, which makes it incredibly interesting to learn. People might look at it and be like, whoa, I can't learn that, but really in the MTC, we were able to learn it in the first couple of days, and then it was just a matter of practicing it and reading it every day, and then eventually got to the point where it's just comfortable to read, but it's just an incredibly fun thing. The phrases and stuff they say there are these phrases that just make no sense, like if you translate them, but they just say them all the time. Like there's this phrase that it's really just a filler phrase, but they say it all the time. They say "Zavid Donam," which means "I'll carry your pain," literally. And so you're like, why are you saying that in that sentence? Because they'll just be like going in a conversation, and they'll say "Zavid Donam" at least like 10 times. It's like, why are you saying that? But it's just because they just say it, and it's just a funny phrase they do. It's a great language. I know I couldn't have learned it without the Lord's help, but people can learn it. The missionaries are able to get it down, and it's just such a way to be able to connect with the people. Like when the people see that you're learning Armenian and be able to use those phrases and be able to speak the way they do, then it develops a layer of trust that you couldn't have having somebody translate for you. Especially the part about speaking the way they do. Just because we as Americans, when we're learning Armenian, we try and apply English to it, which you can speak Armenian in kind of an English manner with the word order and the way we would logically think how to say it. That's not how they would say it. And so sometimes that can make it hard for them to understand. But when you really think about the way they would say it, just like the word order, the word choice, what phrases, what connotations they'd use, then it really develops this trust between you and them, and then at the very least they respect you, and they're like, wow, you speak well, and that is something, and it leaves a good impression on them.